Good morning, Riverheads High School, class of 2022. What a humbling honor and privilege it is to speak to you at your graduation. Now, before I get too far into my speech, I want to make sure you're comfortable and ready to listen, because I've got the largest captive audience of my life, and I've got a lot to say. So this 2 hours is going to be the quickest 2 hours of your life. What's so funny? In June 1987, I was sitting where you're sitting today, getting ready to graduate from Riverheads High School. And when I was sitting in those seats, I thought people my age were old. But now I know better. People my age aren't old, we're wise. And there's a huge difference between wise and old. So I decided to talk to you about what I've learned in those 34 or 35 years since I was sitting in one of those seats. Now, if you've ever had me in class, you know that if I'm going to talk about something new, I'm going to try to relate it to something you know. So here's my analogy. Life is a lot like driving a car. Have you ever tried to steer a car that's not moving? When a car is not in motion, it's just impossible to steer. Life is the same way. In order to succeed, you have to have an idea of where you're going and start moving in that direction. Everyone has bad days, but the difference between people who overcome problems and people who don't depends on the direction they're moving. If you want your life to change, turn your wheels in another direction. How often do you look in your rearview mirror when you're driving? You've got to pay attention to what's back there. But if your eyes are continually focused on where you've been, you won't be able to get where you want to go. The past is the past. Don't let the past hinder you from making forward progress. George Santayana was credited with the phrase, "Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it." People who attain success learn from their mistakes, but focus on what's in front of them. When driving, always stay in your lane. All of you are going to have jobs to do. And if you face those jobs with the mentality, if I want something done right, I'm going to have to do it myself, then your life is going to be a lot more difficult. Just because somebody might do something differently than you doesn't make their way wrong. The end result is the same. If you have a destination in mind, there are a lot of different roads you can take to get there. Every player has their individual strengths, and championships are accomplished by teamwork. And we all know a lot about championships because we're gladiators. Now, when my son turned 16, I bought him a good, old, reliable car for $100. We put that car on a liability plan. I gave him the keys, and he started driving the car. I told him to be careful. 9 years later, my son is still driving that car. That thing's been backed into. It had a mirror fall off that he Gorilla Glued back on. And then a couple years ago, somebody hit it in a parking lot, and the other driver's insurance company paid him $2,700 for the damage. So he's made some money on that car. Now, we can learn a lot from that car, but I've got two particular lessons. Lesson number one, don't allow fancy car payments or frivolous purchases to take too much of your paycheck each month. As long as the motor runs and it gets you from A to B, you've got your needs met. Don't go in debt to impress people. Less debt means less stress. Lesson number two, that car is like a good friend. It stuck with my son through good days and bad days, and he can still depend on it. If you are fortunate enough in life to have one or two good friends that you can depend on, hang on to them because they're priceless. A good friend is someone who overlooks your scars but slaps some Gorilla Glue on you when you feel like you're falling apart. Now, parents, I don't want to leave you out of this little analogy because these graduates need you to be their guardrails. It's tough to watch our babies grow up, and you've provided them with everything they need to get to this point, and now they're officially adults. But it's inevitable that they're still going to make mistakes, and it's going to be hard to watch. But I believe the best lessons learned in life are the ones we learn from our own mistakes. Believe me, I've watched my own 3 children go through young adulthood, and at times, all I could do was pray and try to give them sound advice. And I know for a fact my parents did the same thing, because I have an older sister. Your kids need you to keep them on the road and not let them drive over those cliffs that often show up in life. But understand that there might be times that you're going to have to pull a Carrie Underwood, throw your hands up in the air, and say, Jesus, take the wheel. So back to you, graduates. Let's get philosophical for a moment. Have you ever run a red light? If you've run a red light and didn't get caught, did you really run the red light? The answer is yes, you did. One of the most important things I think we can learn in life is that integrity matters. And integrity is doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Just because you don't get caught running that red light doesn't make it okay. And you need to always do the right thing when no one's looking. A good friend told me something one time that stuck. She said, I learned a long time ago that if I just tell the truth, then I don't have to remember which version of the truth I told which person. Even if you don't get caught in a lie, you're going to know the truth. Integrity matters. Always be that driver who slows down for pedestrians or lets someone out in heavy traffic. It's never a waste of time to be kind, and kindness does not make you weak. Have you ever seen a vehicle with a bunch of bumper stickers on it and you think, I can tell a lot about that driver by those bumper stickers? Well, if you're going to put bumper stickers on your car that you're not comfortable talking about in maybe a job interview, I would say don't stick those bumper stickers on your bumper. Just like bumper stickers, not everything should be posted on social media. Once you put things online, it's there forever. Never forget that. When you're behind the wheel, you've got to look ahead and pay attention to what is going on around you and anticipate hazards. Sometimes you may need to slow down and get a little distance between you and the group you're traveling with. Guard who you become close to, and never forget your core values. If the flow of traffic on interstate is going too fast, take a back road. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, do not be misled. Bad company destroys good character. You will never go wrong when you surround yourself with good people. Trust your instincts and listen to that little voice in your head. When the general public, celebrities, or news media are pushing an agenda that you are uncomfortable with, do your own research and be informed. Just because someone has a popular opinion doesn't make them right, and it doesn't make them trustworthy. Have you ever had to slam on the brakes because another driver pulled out in front of you? Well, every car has a horn, and in life, your voice is your horn. You can't control what others think, say, or do, but you can and should control your reaction. Your reaction to difficult situations is going to say a lot about who you are. And sometimes your best, most effective reaction requires patience and a wise choice of words to get your point across politely. It's important to know when to stay silent and when to be assertive. Like a car horn, being loud and obnoxious will get you plenty of attention, but being polite yet assertive will accomplish results. Always stand up for your core values. So to summarize Ms. Cash's lesson in how to drive your life, steer in the direction you want to go. Limit how often you look in your rearview mirror. Stay in your lane. Buy cars that are as reliable and dependable as good friends. Let your parents be your guardrails. Obey traffic laws. Slow down for pedestrians. Limit the number of bumper stickers you display. When traffic gets too heavy, take a back road. And never, ever be afraid to toot your horn. Congratulations, class of 2022. I want to leave you with this. Henry Ford said, Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I want you to believe deep in your heart that you are capable of achieving anything you put your mind to, that you will never lose. You will either win or learn. You are amazing, more beautiful than you can see, stronger than you feel, and more worthy than you will ever know. I can't wait to hear about all of your future accomplishments. Congratulations.